what he was actually saying. Even beyond, I'm starting to see spaceships from Bankhead. I gotta see my doctor. Scott is calling me. That brother was zooted. He was out of there. But anywho, hey, let me tell you something now. And you know what's crazy? We didn't even realize how that song was a gateway to addiction because we was kids and we was all just, hey, we geeked up. By the way, for those of you watching, I got my Henny Hen for the Winnie Win after watching another beige bandit have to take a pay cut that he did not expect. You know what I mean? We're outnumbered, but we are never losing, my dark-skinned brothers. You know what I mean? The brown and make it go down smooth. That's what we doing. But we got to get into this free agency, a little bit of what's going on in the trade market, and we have a very interesting pre-show or pre-sports conversation for y'all today because we know the black community is unforgiving, right? For those of you who saw the show, Tyler Perry's House of Pain, Janine was clean for years at the end of the series, and they still talked about her hitting that Brock a couple times. So we're going to discuss today what's the hardest drug that you could catch somebody doing that they could come back from in your book. This is going to be different for everybody because it's in their book. Actually, it might not be different. Who knows? But it's in their book. So, y'all fellas ready to get into it?
I'm ready for it.
Sir.
Alrighty, let's do it. What's up, y'all? Have a seat. It's your favorite hour of the week with the facts over at Axe Crew. It's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you without a dope pod to step to. But we got the master of the mix and master, Josh Guyton, in the building.
That is I.
We got the money man, the man of the plan, Chris Allen, in the building.
Right here.
And then you got the little old MC, that's me, Kenton Gibbs. I'm going to start off with you, Chris. What's the hardest drug that you could catch somebody doing and they could still come back from it? Like, you don't look at them differently for the rest of one of y'all's lives, whoever hits the grave first.
Listen. I'll be honest with y'all. The easiest answer is Coke because, like, every celebrity that did Coke and bounced back. Every celebrity that did Coke. Well, most celebrities, not everyone, but I'm being egregious, but a lot of celebrities have done Coke and bounced back. Like, people be like, he ain't no cokehead no more, right? That's the easiest one. The hard choice, though, is like crystal meth for me. Like, if I see you,
somebody could come back from that? Somebody could come back from that?
Yeah, if I see you do crystal meth and then you tell me I kicked the meth, I'll be like, you know what? Walter White, Jesse kicked it. So I believe you can kick it too.
My Lord.
Just cause.
My Lord.
He was cooking though. He wasn't taking it.
No, Jesse was.
Oh yeah, Jesse
came back.
Yeah, but I don't know. Jesse still. I don't know.
Yeah,
Jesse's still a dope fiend to me, bro. He's still a dope fiend to me.
He never beat them out.
Yeah.
No, but
listen,
he's still alive. He made it out.
But here's the thing, though. While you were watching that series, at any point during the series, like, were you confident that Jesse wasn't gonna be on that shit again? Because that was always in the back of my mind, like, he gonna fumble the bag.
I kept thinking he gonna relapse for sure. But what I'm saying is
that he ain't bounced back from it.
What I'm saying is he did at the end. Remember the El Capino movie came out? And, like, Jesse made it to somewhere in the middle of where you live in.
Right, but in order to beat those accusations, like, you have to look that person in the eyes and be like, I can confidently say I'm not going to see them on that shit ever again.
All right, hear me out. It was times where Jesse was in the room with Gurley and was like, I'm not doing that no more. And he really just did not do it. Like, most people that's going to relapse, they just, you know, they going, all right, man, it's here.
Nah, dog. Yeah, I can't buy it. I can't. Chris, I can see where you're coming from most of. I'm not going to lie. I got a general rule, and this is not a good rule, but it's my rule. If I see you doing anything that requires a glass pipe, you're done. You're done. That's it. And meth, you need the glass.
I hear y'all.
You know, Josh, what's the strongest drug somebody could do? And you like,
the strongest?
The strongest one that you like, they all right.
I guess you can say pills in some sort of form just because they become so like socially acceptable, but at the same time there is still like there's still a limit. You know what I mean? Like I don't know like what environments y'all have been in, but I have known people who have like casually done pills.
Right.
And I was still looking at them sideways because it was something that I didn't do, but we also know the person that's like off a yerk at all times.
Yeah, that person that's like, my skin itching, where my yerks?
Yeah, it's a fine line. So I guess pills.
Y'all be chilling like, hey, do somebody wants a pizza? And they're like, no, but call the Sandman. We're hungry.
So I really think this is all based off of like that person's behavior. Because I think that we all have known somebody that's done some shit that's like harder than we would ever do.
Right.
But at the same time, it wasn't impacting them like in their everyday livelihood. Like they wasn't out here strung out. They wasn't losing their job. They wasn't. Yeah. They wasn't fiend out.
They didn't flunk out of school. All that type of stuff. Like,
they wasn't fiend out.
So hear me out. It's a lot of people in this mental health era, and I'm not disrespecting mental health. Mental health is a serious thing, but it's a lot of people in this mental health era is what I'm calling it, that do a lot of pills and they claim it's for their mental health, but they're not working to get off of those pills, which to me is a form of addiction, right? It's a form of addiction.
I hear where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from. I don't necessarily agree for this reason. To me, you only hit addiction when you cannot function without it. Like if somebody's
that's
like,
what I'm saying though.
I can't go in public without my Xanax because I'm that high strung. Let's
what I'm saying though. I know some people right now that like literally like if I don't take my Xanax, like I'm not gonna have a good day. Like I can't have a good day. Right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, they're like, I prescribe these medically, it's the lowest dosage you can get. I don't even feel them no more, but it's just a mind thing. I'm like, hold on now. You mean to tell me you sat at home all day and you didn't take your Xanax, you're gonna have a bad day?
Yeah. Well, for me, and so this is why I'm gonna say, when I think of doing a drug, I always think of the worst way that I could catch you doing it in terms of could you come back or not. Because obviously, all of these drugs, like, if we catch you doing it in a way that's like, it's kind of low key, and like Josh talked about, if you don't like lose your job and all that, really none of these drugs matter. Like, let's be honest. Let's be very honest. If we were invited to we were like, hey, you won an award for Black podcasters, and because you're an entrepreneur spirit, you're gonna meet Magic Johnson, and then we go to meet Magic Johnson, and like, one of us goes to the bathroom and is like live streaming it, and we accidentally catch Magic Johnson in the bathroom hitting the crack pipe, right? It's Magic Johnson. You don't look at him like, oh, he's a crackhead forever. It's Magic Johnson. You got to think of it in the worst way possible. And when I think about pills the worst way possible, I think of two things. The people who would like crush them up, put them in a wet towel, and then insert them into their body a way that's not their mouth. And I'm like, hey, yo, could somebody come back from that? No, I don't think so. But that is what brought me to my answer. The worst drug somebody could do, or I could catch somebody doing in the worst way possible and still be like, they kicked it. It's been a while, is lean. That's it. I catch you hitting Waukesha. Like,
I can see lean.
Even the worst way possible, you still just putting it in the joint or you sipping it straight. It's like, you ain't got a cough, brother. This is a little weird, but you can come back from that.
But at the same time, it's still based off your behavior.
If I see you snorting a line of like, for example, I saw a woman, and listen, my auntie knows I love her, and we not gonna get into no names or anything like that. Because actually, I don't even know this woman's name, so even if I wanted to, I couldn't name her. But one of my auntie's friends took a stand back. Now, y'all know what a stand back is, right? It's aspirin for all intents and purposes. Yeah. For whatever reason, it was the powder form. And it was, the powder form, like you think of it by mixing it in a drink.
Yeah, put it in a little bottle of water.
She takes out a little, like, rolling paper, makes it a V, puts it in there and says, I said, yo.
No, you peeked out.
What's going on?
I guess the worst drug you can do, you can't bounce back from is now aspirin, bro. That's insane. That's insane.
It's aspirin. I'm like,
that's insane.
In front of people, bro?
Chris, it was kids in the car. We were kids. She had to look back. She looked back and said, it's just a stand back. It's just aspirin. Because literally, we went from all laughing to dead silence. Like the car, you don't understand. Silence is always bad. But you don't understand the silence of 4 children that are lapped up in the back having a gay old time. And then all of a sudden, they go from like laughing and joking to,
Hey, no, that's insane.
listen, she needed to explain herself because the car got quiet. And I'll never forget.
How old were you?
I had to be 10 or 11. And I'll never forget because DMX Lose My Mind was playing. And like, we was like literally like making jokes, laughing, and we was almost about to sing it. You know when the flow of the car get going and like, literally, the minute she hit the stopped. Everything. Everything. It's like when Beyonce do that one. It's like when Beyonce do the on mute challenge at her concerts and everybody like, shut the hell up, shut up, literally 4 children in the back, quiet, instantly. So to me, lean is the word because there's no fiend out way to do lean to me. There's no way to do it that don't look like, come
Not even if it's somebody that's like, they got to drink it at all times.
But that's the thing. When I think about taking it, I'm not associating the behaviors with it. I'm just saying the worst way I could walk in on you doing it. You know what I mean? And like, if I walk in on you doing lean the worst way, it's just like, oh, come on, bro. What are you doing? Like, stop that. But like, and you know, I'm gonna look at you different for a minute. But like, again, if I catch you hitting the pookie, oh, you're that for the rest of your life, brother. Hey, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to, and I know that this is hypocritical of me because I want to destigmatize drug use. I want to legalize drug use. I want for people to not look at people who are suffering from addiction as lesser people. And maybe this is wrong of me to feel this way, but again, I'm never gonna like unsee that a little bit. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion there. But now we got to get into somebody who may have been high when he turned down the original contract that was offered to him because free agency has made quite a splash, if you get where I'm going. Maybe a little foreshadowing of our first candidate up here. We have none other than Klay Thompson going to the Dallas Mavericks for 3 years, $50 million, about $17 million a year. Fellas, do you like the move? Do you hate the move? Are you like, I'm indifferent? What do you think?
Man, I think the move is terrible on multiple fronts, right? Mm-hmm. I think the move is terrible from Golden State's perspective because it's showing that the new ownership and the new management that you have in place is not doing a good job at managing relationships. Like ever since Bob Myers left, the morale of the team and the aura that Golden State created has been completely gone. It don't seem like anybody want to play there, and it doesn't seem like the players that were playing there are having a good time with what's currently going on, right?
But Josh, 4.
and he got that 4 with them, and they offered him a bigger contract than what he got, and he said no. So obviously that's the thing. It is not like you are bouncing back from a place to where you're going to get somebody that's better than Klay. It's 2024. There's players out there that's better than Klay Thompson. But you got rid of Klay Thompson, you got rid of Chris Paul, like you about to get rid of Andrew Wiggins, and you've replaced them with DeAnthony Melton and Kyle Anderson. Right? So it looks terrible from that perspective. It looks terrible from Klay's perspective because you... Okay, so it happens like I know probably a lot of people that listen to our show. This is probably the first time that they're experiencing it because a lot of people don't really like find out what their interests are until they get a little older. Like, you know, teens or early 20s. We're an anomaly because we all been basketball fans since like birth, essentially.
Like I say, basketball.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've already experienced it to where these people that you grew up with and that you revere like hit wash territory. And it's hard to admit. It's hard to admit when you see it.
Watching Ben Wallace on the Cavs.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lot of people that's listening to this show that this is their first, like they don't understand what like being washed looks like. And they're having a hard time processing it right now. All these people that we grew up with and that was hoopers when we was in high school and you were in college, the Klay Thompsons, we'll get to Paul George later, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Russell Westbrook. Like Klay Thompson on the Mavericks is Ben Wallace on the Cavaliers territory.
Oh.
Nah, I don't think
it is.
I mean, here's the thing. Ben Wallace on the Cavs, like when he was healthy, he did his thing, but he was just never healthy. Like he was never
right. We looking at the Klay Thompson who last game
bro.
with the Warriors he went 0 for 10. We looking at Klay Thompson to where
I hear you, but if you look at his stats after the All-Star season, you go watch some footage of his stats after the All-Star season. 17 on 38%. I mean, that's better than a good 40% of the league.
Right. He's a regular player now, but that's not Klay Thompson. We looked at Klay Thompson. Anytime Klay Thompson had the ball in his hands, we were expecting a bucket for years. And now we just looking at Klay Thompson as a spot up shooter that can't play defense because he doesn't have lateral movement anymore. And I think it's a bad look on Klay's part because he was expecting like I'm Klay Thompson, I'm gonna get some bread, and he didn't.
He's finding out.
I'm gonna challenge you, Guyton. You just said the morale in locker room was gone for Golden State. So you don't think that played a factor in why Klay Thompson had a bad year? Because remember, before the locker room was bad, Klay Thompson was guns blazing 2022.
I mean, we also looking
that's
at
only 2 seasons ago.
We also looking at a Golden State team where even though you can't say the morale was necessarily affecting them. Because even though it was easier for him to get open because they had Kevin Durant on the team, let's not act like the Kevin Durant Warriors was the healthiest locker room, and it didn't affect Klay Thompson's playing performance.
I mean, but that locker room was so talented that even though the locker room was bad, they had enough pieces to do what they need to do, and they played the game significantly different than everybody else in the league, right? So I mean,
that's right.
I don't know. I think this is a great pickup for the Mavs. I think the Mavs hit the lotto. Here's why. You mean to tell me all that ISO ball Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic play, right? All that ISO ball they play. And they were kicking the ball to Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green, Derrick Jones Jr., PJ Washington, and you telling me now they have Klay? Now you have Klay? Defensively, yeah, Klay might be a liability at this point in his career. But you have Klay Thompson now to throw the ball to.
But is Klay that?
38%, 17 a game. That's better than everybody I just named. That's better than everybody. So you upgraded what you lacked, which was more shooting. They had shooters that got hot when they need to get hot, but you have a consistent knockdown shooter right now. And I don't want to hear this Klay this, Klay that, Klay this. Because if he went to the Lakers, y'all would have been calling him the great light-skinned hope. So I don't want to hear this.
Who, me?
If he was playing next to Bron, not y'all, but I'm just saying everybody in the world.
I was about to say.
Because if he would have signed with them Lakers and been with Bron and AD, everybody would be like, oh, that's exactly what they needed. The Lakers to the championship, Lakers to the finals. Everybody.
When you meet Owen in your last game, by Owen, I mean Owen however many shots you shot. You can't. When you and Owen become friends and it's more than 10 of y'all, nah. That ain't it for me. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. I'm agreeing with Chris on this one, and let me tell you why. I have the top 200 contracts in the NBA in front of me. And Klay Thompson is now outside of that group. Let me name you some players that are inside that group with the lowest total values per year, but still more than Klay Thompson. I think Norman Powell is probably the lowest player on here that I would say is like significantly better. Norman Powell, Marcus Smart. I think those are 2. Other than that, you've got Patrick Williams, Keldon Johnson, the guy that he's replacing, Tim Hardaway,
I'm telling you.
And Malik. Okay, Malik Monk is probably better than him at this point.
Definitely
Jakub Poeltl. Bojan Bogdanovic, Nikola Vucevic and Lonzo Ball.
I just told you.
Listen, Clay, you should have stayed with your foe. You should have stayed with the foe, brother. I don't know why you thought that whatever they offered you, you were supposed to take for the sake of, you know what? I made enough bread. Like, we good here. Because to me, I don't believe in taking discounts until you start entering wash territory. When you start entering wash, if you done played all your career at one place and they let you get to wash, they didn't move you before you got to wash, you stick it out. That's just my opinion, personally.
I hear you. Hot take. I don't think Curry finished the season as a Warrior. I don't think
really.
Curry finishing his career as a Warrior.
I was just about to say
listen,
I don't
Listen. I thought that, right? I thought that though, right? I thought that.
Talk to us, Chris. Let us know something.
But when you think about it, to keep that team intact, they had to give away their entire future. Like if you look at their current DNA, right? They gave away their entire future to keep that team intact.
So
right?
So are you saying that they're gonna give away Curry to get a future back?
They're going to give him. I mean, that's the only. If they don't, and Curry retires at, let's say, 39, 40, Curry retires, you don't have nothing to build off of. You don't have no direction you can go in. And they already proved before Curry that they are a franchise that cannot do anything unless they draft a gem.
But unless Curry asks for that, you just got to be a poverty franchise.
Gonna get to that point. I don't think we're in the times of NBA where people going to do like Kobe and play with bums. I don't think we're in that part of the NBA anymore. That time in the NBA. Curry gonna look at that team. They gonna go. Let's say they start off hot and then they go on a losing streak. Curry ain't gonna want to be there. He's still in the prime of his career. He's 35 years old. He still got at least two. He got at least 2 more years in his prime because of his style of play, Gibbs. Because of his style of play.
Am I drunk? Is this?
Nah.
Did I just hear this man say Curry's in his prime?
Because of his style of play. Gibbs, he's 2 years off a championship, man. Come on, man.
I mean, his numbers now is still not too much different than when he was in his prime.
No.
Exactly.
No. Here's the difference. Y'all remember how Curry was getting guarded night in and night out in his prime. That type of guarding is not there no more. It is not there no more. Or when it is present, it's having a bigger effect.
You want to know why, Gibbs? Gibbs? Because Kyle Anderson is who's on this team now. That's why. Gibbs. That's why.
I agree.
Curry gonna get 60. Nobody else gonna score.
I'm saying this. What I'm saying. All in all, when you look at Curry, I'm saying he is slowing down, and you can see it.
He's slowing down.
Visible,
but he's still a top 5 to 7 player in the league right now. He won Clutchest Player of the Year for a reason, Gibbs.
Top 5 is a little crazy. But I get you.
I said top 5 to 7. You could. I mean,
that's what I said. Top 5 a little crazy, but I get you. I'm not mad at you.
So all in all, I think he's gonna say, "Let me get up out of here."
So all in all, we got 2 saying that this is a good signing for the Mavs, terrible signing for Clay. Josh thinks this is terrible for everybody. Everybody.
I think it's terrible for everybody. What was the biggest issue with the Mavericks in the NBA Finals?
I want to say perimeter defense because Luka was
and Klay Thompson's supposed to play defense.
He wasn't great last year, but he may bounce back. Getting moved may motivate.
He used to be able to play defense.
Bro, he's 35 and he got 2 knees that don't work and an Achilles that's his lateral movement is gone.
I'm not gonna say he's gonna be locked down, but he's gonna be better than Tim Hardaway Jr. defensively.
Luka had the highest blow-by rate in I want to say NBA Finals history since they start keeping track of that. I'm not saying that Klay is gonna be the ultimate stopper supreme. But at the end of the day, you can't be worse than what Luka was. You cannot be worse. Exactly. It is virtually impossible to be worse than what he was. So even Klay with half a knee left, Klay with half a Achilles and 1 knee left, I'm taking him over what Luka did defensively. So again, to me, the biggest thing of why this helps the Mavs is not that the Mavs got exponentially better. It's that he is cheaper than Tim Hardaway to provide essentially the same thing. Because Tim Hardaway, not a great defender, maybe a plus defender every now and then. But he was supposed to be a knockdown shooter. Didn't really work out that way. And the most important signing of the offseason for the Los Angeles Clippers, Nicholas Batum is coming back. Nah, I'm just joking. I'm joking. the Clippers read up with James Harden, 270 M's. I'm sorry, 2 years, 70 M's, 35 million a year. How you feeling about it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What you feeling?
I'm gonna sound like a hater. I hate every signing that has happened this free agency,
Really?
except probably one.
Okay, well, we gonna get to that one. I feel like that one is who we got on the docket next. I feel like that one is.
You
who we
think
got
so?
on the docket. You hate this for everybody.
Josh,
you hate this for everybody?
I hate this. Y'all looking confused right now.
I am, because I love this for Harden.
That's the king of hate.
For Harden.
That's the king of hate, though, bro.
Oh yeah, no. This is cool for Harden. Yeah, this is cool for Harden.
Harden.
Yeah, don't go to the king of hate. Yeah, this is cool for Harden. Yeah, I don't really
hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress.
I don't really. Yeah, I mean, this is terrible for the Clippers if they trying to move forward at all. But at the same time, like Chris brought up a couple shows ago, at this point, you got a new arena. You might as well just go ahead and try to fill those seats in that new arena. At this point.
What are we doing here? That's a W for them. That is a win for the Clippers. You keep a star that has somewhat of a fan base, right? Kawhi Leonard hasn't left the team, and he under contract. So you got two. And Harden not a superstar no more. I said star. He's not a superstar no more. But you have a guy that he could put butts in seats, and then Kawhi Leonard gonna be there. So I mean, essentially, let's say they mess around and get Larry marketing. How you like the Clippers now?
They in the same spot they was last year.
I was about to say Larry marketing.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
He's not moving.
What I'm saying to you, if I said, listen, I get us 2 tickets to the Clippers' new arena. All you gotta do is buy a flight, right? Y'all would be like, oh, okay, it ain't waste my time. Y'all be like, I'll go to the Clippers game with you. I'll go. And look, and they second row. So I know y'all flight might be 400 because it's last minute, but you gonna go to that Clippers game.
In the words of DJ Khaled, that sounds like an opportunity. Okay? I'm gonna be there. Okay? I'm gonna be there.
So that's the goal there. They gonna sell some tickets in that $6 billion arena that they just built. So
Fair enough. I'm gonna jump in right here and I'm gonna let you in this one, Josh. I'll say this. It feels to me like the Clippers are trying to add everybody who was at the pop out to their roster at this point. They said, PG, you wasn't there? You gotta go, brother. You gotta go. DeMar DeRozan, come on down. I'm joking, DeRozan hasn't signed anywhere yet. But this is, like I said, great for Harden, not great for the Clippers. From the standpoint of winning ball games, great for the Clippers in terms of being entertaining, because Harden, now that he can no longer do like the foul baiting arm hook thing, it's entertaining to watch him play again. He's the LeBron James of Lance Stevenson's right now. Like that's who he is at this moment, and it's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, some games he give you 40, some games he give you 6. I mean, it's cool.
It's all about how Harden guys work. It's all about how the strip clubs were the night before. You know what I mean? Like, if it was amateur night the night before, he going to be on this game. Harden is going to be ready to go. But I'll tell you what, let Daisy be in there. Oh, that brother's cooked. He's done. Hey, but all in all, the Brown is talking. The Brown is talking a little bit. But all in all, I say, good pickup for the Clippers. I mean, good pickup for Harden getting this money. For the Clippers, you're not going to win games, but you'll fill seats. More power to you. Josh, what you thinking?
I mean, just from, like we were just talking about Steph and the Warriors and going forward and trying to put together like a championship team. That's cooked for the Clippers. If your goal is to go ahead and put butts in seats and sell some jerseys to fill up this new arena, then good for them. But that much money for Harden at this point in his career, it's only good for Harden. Shout out to him. Shout out to his agent for getting that amount of bread. But I just told you at the start of the show, we are in the washed era of plenty of people that we were used to being superstars. And James Harden might be like the poster boy for the current washed era.
Bro, that's the going rate though, guy. $35 million is like the new that's like the new mid-tier third option. Like, you got to realize the TV deals just kicked in, bro. Like, $35 million a year is like the middle of the pack. That's like Mike Conley when he got that first deal, and now his deal looked like a baby deal. Like that, like, you get what I'm saying? He got 31 M's that year.
You can call me old school, I guess. 35 million, man. If you spend $35 million for somebody, I need that to be at worst second option on a championship roster.
If I told you the guys who are making exactly $35 million outside of James Harden, I think James Harden is the second best player making $35 million. Yeah, I think he's the second best.
That's what I'm saying.
Insane.
Like, that's the going
insane
rate right now, bro.
Tyler Hero making $35 million, ain't he?
Here's the guys that are making exactly 35. I think Tyler might be making more than that. Let me see here. Give me just a second while I pull this up. Tyler Hero is only making 30. He's making 30.
Yeah, he's not making
but 30 is a lot of money, bro.
Here are the other guys making exactly 35 or less than 36, more than 35. You have, again, we know Harden is in that group. Emmanuel Quickly, Ben Simmons, SGA,
okay,
MPJ.
PJ who?
MPJ.
Oh, MPJ. Yeah, James Harden, the second best player out of that group.
That's what I'm saying.
James Harden, the second best player out of that
group. That's the going right now. That is your third option going right now.
That's crazy.
Your star getting 50 plus. Your second tier getting around 44, 45. And then your third getting around 30, 35 now. That's the rate of the league now.
Yeah, Shea kind of got fleeced.
Yeah, he young. He only get paid so much because he was young. So his next extension, though,
that 2026 extension,
he might get over 60. He might be the first player to get 60.
Oh, I love it!
Love
it! I love to see Shea get 60. I love to see it. You know what I mean? Sad that all of it is going to Canada, but more power to him. But in terms of guys who are breaking the bank, we got to talk about the biggest contract of the group, which I believe is the only one that Josh would like. Maybe I'm wrong here. Paul George going to the 76. You don't like that one?
No.
Oh, wait. Okay. You don't like it for all parties involved.
I don't like it I like it for Paul George because he got paid. Like, shout out to him for getting paid once again. But
53 is crazy. Yeah, 53.
Yeah, but crazy. Paul George is definitely why she definitely should not be making $53 million for what 22 5 and 5 a game.
Yeah, somewhere abouts.
And I don't know. A lot of people saying, well, you got to spend the money somehow. If Philly's still trying to win, okay, you can spend the money. Paul George for 4 years. You know about the win with that. Paul George just turned 34.
Hold on. Pause. Let me break something down to you, young fella. No, your birthday just passed. Happy birthday, Guyton. But
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Let me break something down to you. All right. You have a center with generational talent that cannot play more than 50 games or he's going to have knee issues.
Uh-huh.
You don't want to play the play-in because guess what that means, Guyton? More games he got to play.
Agreed.
Okay? Maxey kept you in the 7th seed. You signed Paul George. Now you got a little more insurance that if Embiid go down, we don't have to be in the play-in. We can win games in the regular season.
Okay.
Now we get to the playoffs. We have a healthy Embiid. I don't need Paul George to be playoff P, his so-called nickname. I just need you to be a defender and shoot the ball when you're open. And if Embiid having an off night, pick up some scoring, which he can do.
Okay.
Paying that much for Paul George at this point in his career where he can still defend, he can still score at will, not like he used to, is a great deal. That is a fantastic. They got him on a steal, if I'm being honest with you, for what he could have gotten.
How much is he making a year?
53.
53, right. That's a steal.
How many players is making 53? Is Bron making 53?
53.
Well, Bron's not. I mean, Bron's an outlier. 50. What I'm saying is, you have a window of 3 years, right?
Hold on.
You have to spend.
Paul George is 34.
Guyton, you just paid Tobias Harris 40. You gotta redeem
which
that.
was also stupid.
You gotta redeem that though. Like this is the new $40 million that they gave Tobias. They gave it to PG.
You looking at you? We was just talking about Joel Embiid not being able to be healthy. We about to look at Paul George. We about to look at Paul George as a pillar of health.
I didn't say that. Paul George has his health concerns.
So now you got two players that's injury prone that's making $50+ million, and it's how far did the Sixers make it?
I was sitting up here wondering why LeBron James wasn't on this list, and he hasn't signed a contract. Yeah, he hasn't signed a contract.
Yeah,
and he's not going to get more than 53 because he's going to do a 1+1, so he's not getting more than 53.
I don't know. I think he's eligible for the max now with the Lakers.
He's eligible for the max for sure, but he's not going to take that much money hoping they do something with the roster. He's not.
They ain't do nothing with that. Chris, stop playing. Stop playing.
Yeah, that don't just because they didn't do nothing right now don't mean they never gonna do it.
That don't mean that front office pulled a Darvin Ham this offseason. Them boys had their hands in their pockets. It was.
Yeah, you couldn't sell Clay to go beat it on the Lakers and wear his dad old jersey number. That's pretty bad.
That's nasty work.
That's pretty bad.
That's disgusting work. But yeah, Bron gonna make 53. He gonna make that.
I'm thinking Bron gonna make around 46, 47.
We'll see. I love this contract for PG. Hate it for the 76ers. The 76ers are an unserious franchise. They're not going to win.
You paying this amount for 4 years, bro.
Here's my biggest problem. It's not even about the whole like championship window thing because we all know, and I never want to wish for injury on anybody, including Boston athletes. So knock on wood. We get it. The idea is you're one Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown injury away from being that team. Here's my problem. You had to give up $200 million in the hopes that it happens in year 1 or 2. Because honestly, I don't know beyond this year. I can comfortably say, yeah, next year if Jason Tatum goes down, something happens, or Drew Holiday falls off a cliff, Jaylen Brown goes down, sure, I could see it. I could see you winning that series. I can't see them getting out of the East 3-4 years from now, even with everybody at full health, rolling at full tilt.
You got to remember, core. You got to remember the same reason why the Clippers had to start breaking it up now is the same reason why the Celtics going to have to break it up next year. The salary cap rules are if they're on their extension, that second year after the extension, then you have to get hit by the luxury tax. So the Celtics won't have this team after next season, right? Because they just had to give Tatum his extension. So they're losing some guys next season. So to me, systematically, you can bank on them having an off year, or you can retool, run it back next year, and then they won't have the same team, right?
The problem is Paul George's best basketball is behind him. And the more time we advance, the further his best basketball gets away from him.
And it's not like we just missed out on his best basketball. Like, it's been at least 5 years since we've seen his best basketball. And here,
OKC, he was still at his best.
That was 5 years ago. You spent 5 years on the Clippers, bro.
No, he has?
It's been
no
3
way.
Bro, he went to the Clippers in 2019. The 2019-2020 season was his last season on the Thunder. He went to the Clippers after that season.
Yeah, because they was on the Clippers in the bubble. It was in the Clippers in the bubble.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So it's been at least 5. And here's why it's a bad deal. If you want to sign Paul George to that much money, and he's your third option, and he's still able to play some decent defense, which I'll give him credit for. He's still able to knock down shots. He can still give you 20 a game, at least in this upcoming season, right? If you were doing that, and your first and second option in Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey were so good that you could just rely on Paul George to do just his job, then yes. But we're looking at a Tyrese Maxey who's never going to be a number one option on the championship team. Their number one option is Joel Embiid, who is one, can't stay healthy, and two, I think we've seen the best basketball that we're going to see out of Joel Embiid too. He's already played his best basketball. He's not going to get better.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I want to agree with you, Guyton. I don't know what it is about Embiid. When he's healthy, I don't know.
When he's healthy, he's amazing. But when he can't stay healthy, and two, the last we saw of him, he bleed out of his knees, and he got his face don't work. He got earned palsy now because of their medical team.
Wait, what?
Did you not see this man? His face couldn't move in the playoffs.
Yeah. He had the palsy thing where his face was froze. But guy, let me hear me out, guy. You don't think a man that has those issues that had a 50-point game in a series can get better?
No.
Guy. We have not seen a healthy Joel Embiid. He's always been hurt, is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
What I'm saying, though, is if he could string together one healthy season, I think he could do a one-off. So
you telling me Joel Embiid gonna walk into a season where he turning 31 and being like, you know what? I'm 31. I'm gonna be healthy now.
I'm gonna say this. This is my last. This is my last year believing Joel. Actually, let me not say this is my last year. Last year was my last year believing Joel Embiid can lead a team to a championship. That was it. That was all I had in me. No more. No more. With that being said, I get it. You do this signing to keep your big fella happy. Terrible signing. Paying Paul George. And mind you, he is 34 right now. And I get it, right? LeBron has changed what we imagine as longevity. I understand that. The reality is Father Time is still undefeated. Paul George is 34 years old. That man has been in the NBA since 2010. There is overlap with him and Brandon Roy, if I'm not wrong here. With all due respect, get him out of here. Get him out of here. You're going to be paying that man $54 in 3 years, Chris. That's insane.
I get you, but I mean, I get you. But I mean, if you get one out of that, it was worth it.
If you get one, it's absolutely worth it. But it's a lot like that trade that they made with OKC, and I believe it was the Clippers. If the Clippers would have got a championship, they absolutely would have been, they absolutely would have been in a moment where I'm like, hey, I feel good about this team. I feel good about what they're doing. They didn't. If the 76ers don't get a championship out of this, I mean, you could have signed Clay for half of that and still been a raise and still gotten the same results. Like, I'm sorry to say it. That's just the reality. So I'm guessing
Paul George is better than Clay in this point.
No, I do. Hold on. This is not me saying Paul George and Clay are the same player. What I'm saying is the difference between the 76ers and a championship is greater than Paul George. That's my argument.
Right.
Here. And if the difference is greater, you could get Clay at a lower number and get the same result you're gonna get anyway. That's my point here.
I got you, but hear me out. Porzingis coming off a season-ending injury where he's going to be back, but he also had a severe surgery, right?
Right.
Al Horford a year older, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Drew Holiday a year older as well. He's 37 now.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. One of those key rotation guys, they start showing some age. Philly get the right go in the season. Embiid don't have to play nothing but the bare minimum 65 games, and even when he play them, they rested him when they up 20.
He shouldn't be playing 65 games. He shouldn't be playing 65 at this point in his career.
That's if you want to be eligible, for the bonus for all NBA and All Star.
Yeah.
Forget that. You got an MVP. You got all the stuff. Forget it.
We say that, but that also is his next contract on the line. But that's why I said 65. But even if you do 65 games, right, you avoid the play-in. Let's say you get the number 2 seed, 3 seed, right? You match up with, let's say, Cleveland team. Easy round for you. Next round, you match up with, let's say, a Pacers team, a little tougher. Then you see the Celtics. And the Celtics that had a little bit of age showing in Drew Holiday, Al Horford, Porzingis ain't right. Go to the finals, and then let's say, even if Ant-Man and them come out the West, they ain't knocked on the door yet.
If you get to the finals, who knows what's gonna happen, right? Because
exactly. I'm telling you, this makes sense from that aspect of.
But this is what I'm saying. The cracks. You're giving $50 million to depend on the crack opening. Pause. You're giving $50 million to depend on, hey, this one shining moment is gonna shake through. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I get it. From an owner, you don't really, the money got to go somewhere. I get it. All right. So Josh and I think this is bad for the 76ers. Chris likes it for everybody. All of us like it for Paul George. Good for you, Podcast P. Go on your next podcast and tell us what it's like to have an accountant who you just turned into a millionaire if he wasn't already. Congratulations, brother. Now, the actual one that Josh has to like here. We finally got to the one Josh likes because I too think that this works out for the team well. We've got CP3 to the Spurs, 1 year, $11 million. I like it for all parties involved. Wemby gets a playmaker, a facilitator, all the good things in that nature. Yep. Jeremy Shohan ass, big ass, can get in the paint now. Do you rebound or do you tweet, Jeremy? Get in the paint, you big bastard. I am really excited about the potential fit here. I like it for all parties involved. I mean, Chris Paul, you in your super washed era, brother. You're in your T-Mac on the Pistons era. That's the era that you
exactly.
He
super duper
He
washed.
recovered from a drug that I don't think he ever gonna get back on.
That boy, shout out to Chris Paul. He beat his finals addiction cold turkey like I ain't never seen a drug addiction get beat before. Didn't relapse not one time, Josh. Didn't even think about
not a single
relapse.
time.
Didn't even come close
clean
to
as a
relapsing.
whistle.
Clean as a whistle. Josh, I'm guessing this is the one you like for the team.
It is. I like this for all parties involved. Here's why. One, we all agree that Chris Paul is super washed. And if we would see an offseason when Chris Paul retired, I don't think any of us would be surprised. So $11 million for a man that's like clearly on his last legs. And he obviously still wants to play baseball. He still wants to get paid. Shout out to Chris Paul for getting another $11 million out of the NBA.
Right.
We're also looking at a Spurs team who they weren't about to be like, you know what, we went ahead and Wemby had his first year. Now we ready for some playoff contention. Like the Spurs aren't there yet. The Spurs are still going to be a bottom of the barrel Western Conference team. And while you're in that position, I think you want to put Wemby in a position to learn as much as he possibly can. And regardless how we feel about Chris Paul as a player, I couldn't think of too many people that you would want to learn from when it comes to the game of basketball than Chris Paul. So this gives Wemby a chance to be a better basketball player. This also gives us a chance to see what Wemby can actually do when the ball is in his hands. Because we were looking at a Spurs team that it seemed like, I don't know, they maybe had parlays on Wemby on the under, but there was a lot of times where that man should have been getting the ball last year, and you couldn't find him the ball, and you also didn't have a facilitator on that team. I mean, probably the oldest player you had on the team were in their mid-20s, and none of them were great facilitators. Now, regardless of how old he is, Chris Paul is still a great facilitator. You're putting Wemby in a position to learn as much as he possibly can. The Spurs aren't really losing out on a lot of money because it's a one-year deal. So Wemby's learning. Chris Paul is still getting paid. And the Spurs are being set up for success because this can help Wemby be a better player in the future when it is time for contention towards playoffs, title, whatever you think their ceiling is.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, Chris, what you thinking? Who you like this for?
I like it for the Spurs, but also what else y'all gonna do, right? Because obviously he can't play starter minutes. This is the perfect time to do what Oklahoma City did, right? What did Oklahoma City do? They took Chris Paul in that trade, and they said, look, we're not gonna trade you, but we got this guy Shea, you his mentor, right? And look what Shea's doing right now in the NBA, right? So you mean to tell me if they could pull off and I think the Hawks not done. I think Trae Young, if they could pull off a Trae Young trade, right? I think this works out perfect, right? Because not only do you have to not have Chris Paul out there for starter minutes, but he has someone to learn from, right? Someone that he can really learn how to be a true point guard and use his big man. Because one thing we know about Chris Paul, he know how to use them big man in LA. DeAndre Jordan almost got a max deal because of Chris Paul. Let's be clear here.
DeAndre Jordan was first team All NBA.
First team All NBA because of Chris Paul. Okay. So if anybody
as a league,
if
we
anybody
used to be a proper league.
If anybody can maximize Trae Young and Wemby connection, it'd be Chris Paul, and he'll really work hard at being that mentor. And for $11 million, I mean, that's a drop in the bucket for these contracts now. That's almost the new mid-level exception.
Boy, I tell you, $11 million is actually under what the average player is getting paid in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
The rookie contracts now are $10 million.
Yeesh. Yeesh. So, with all that being said, fellas, I think we can all agree the best payout on the player side, Paul George by far. Best, not much to think about there.
For sure.
Thief of the night.
He'll take anything but, hey, come on now. He'll take anything but. Now, with that being said, who do y'all think is the best team fit here in terms of, where the team got the best value out of getting this guy?
I would have to go Chris Paul just because you're putting your team in a position to succeed. with teaching one of your young players that's probably going to be the face of the league, Klay Thompson. Yes, he's a better knockdown shooter than what the Mavericks had, but they didn't get any better defensively, which was their biggest issue. You got Paul George going to the Sixers, which I don't believe in Paul George to be healthy. And I don't think that moved the needle for Philadelphia at all. I mean, if they stayed healthy going into last season, we saw Philly going maybe to the finals.
Right.
I don't see their ceiling being any higher than that. So they didn't move the needle at all, and you're looking at a Joel Embiid who we don't know if they're going to be healthy. We're looking at a Paul George who we don't know if they're going to be healthy. And then James Harden, I mean, he was on the Clippers last year, and they lost Paul George and didn't replace him with anybody, so they didn't necessarily get better as a team, and James Harden is a year older, so that didn't add any value to the Clippers as a franchise.
That's fair. That's fair. Chris, which team do you think got the best value here?
Dallas 100%. Let me tell you why. Yeah, they didn't get better defensively as a whole, but when you look at how they played that finals, who struggled in that finals?
I mean, offensively or defensively?
Offensively for the Celtics, who struggled in that finals?
Oh, offensively for the Celtics, who struggled in the finals? Well, y'all didn't agree with me, but I think Jason Tatum had a...
No, we didn't say he didn't struggle. We just said he strung together enough good other things on the court where he didn't have a bad finals. That's all we said. He struggled that was my point. He struggled offensively. So you mean to tell me you added Klay Thompson to a team that they made the best player on the team that beat them struggled the most offensively, right? I think, honestly, the reason why it wasn't as competitive a series is because I told y'all a long time ago, Kyrie in Boston just don't make sense. He can't kick that bucket. He can't kick that addiction. Kyrie in Boston is never going to be a good sight. Never going to be a good sight. So it was in here with Kyrie. So I think that's why that series went competitive, honestly, because if you think about it, if Kyrie would have just scored his average, those games would have been widely more winnable. Way more winnable if he just scored his average.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to tell you this. I actually think when you include the fact that they kept their big fella happy, the 76ers, although they overpaid by a mile, it's a better fit than we think. But with that being said, it's still by far the Spurs. I mean, let's be honest. They got that boy Chris Paul on an embarrassing deal. With all due respect, Chris, it's time. It's time. We've told you, hang it up. We've asked nicely. Chris, let it go. Okay? Much like I did with my hairline. I'm a guy who knows when to let it go, Chris.
You gotta know when to give it up, man.
And I'm telling you right now, okay? Chris Paul of Winston-Salem, please. Please, because I don't want to get confused. Because I know a lot of Chris's. I know a lot of people with the last name Paul. I'm sure there is another Chris Paul somewhere in the world. Chris Paul, please. Let's wrap it up, B. Let's go ahead and wrap that up. But, again, the Spurs, they're going to make Wemby a lot better. And they got him on the humbug. They got him for pennies on the dollar. You know, can't beat that with a stick. But one thing that we can beat is an all-white boy trade in the NBA. Now, granted, not all white American. We got a white Australian for a white American here. We've got Alex Caruso being traded away from the Bulls for Josh Giddey straight up. What are you fellas thinking?
I think that was a great move for OKC.
I think OKC put off the fleece of the century.
Yeah, that's one of the most lopsided trades. I think, even though it's kind of hard to call it lopsided just because you're not talking about two like star players getting exchanged for each other. I still think that's one of the biggest lopsided trades I've seen at least in recent memory.
My question is, did the NBA make some secret backroom deal with Jordan to say like, hey, we'll give you all of these championships. We'll let your stats be inflated. We'll let you have all these things. But like after you leave, we're going to decimate this franchise for 3 decades.
Gotta be.
At least 3 decades. They're going to be unserious. Just letting you know. We're going to give them a hometown MVP, and we're going to give them a head coach who is going to run him until his ACLs are made of cat guts and imagination. what a sicko. What a sick guy. I genuinely don't understand what the Bulls are doing at this point. And I'm a Pistons fan, so that's saying something here. Nasty work from the Bulls. OKC, way to get a fleece. Great job. Chris, close us out.
It's that era of if we show people that we doing what we can to make our players happy when they move on from our franchise, maybe somebody come sign with us in free agency down the line. So I mean, I ain't thinking nothing of it. To me, it was a good move for both teams because not only do you have a facilitator now for the Bulls in a way, because Josh Giddey can facilitate. I mean, he's not going to do more. He's not going to do worse offensively than Caruso, but defensively you lost a lot. But also you're the Bulls, so you're going to lose a lot anyway. So I mean,
and here's my question, right, about this trade for the Bulls. You know, one of these guys became unplayable for their team, flatly unplayable for their team, and it was Josh. His stock is at its lowest, and you don't ask for anything more in return from the team that has the most picks in the NBA by a mile. Like I bet Sam Presti is their GM, right? Is it? I bet Sam Presti was like, yeah, we'll definitely give you Giddey we'll definitely give you Giddey for Caruso, and we'll throw in before he could say and we'll throw in, the Bulls GM was like, so
that had to be what happened.
Presti said, wait, what do you mean you didn't hear the? He said, you think I didn't hear the hook? No, I got the hook. It's Giddey. It's Josh Giddey. That's the hook. And he said,
I don't think people are really. I don't think people are really grasping the fact that OKC gave up a player that was virtually unplayable.
Right.
They didn't give up any of the
bad player though. On that team, the way they start playing, he's not a bad regular
season player. He's not a bad regular season player.
On that team, the way they start playing, running gun offense, let Shea cook, be open, and you can't shoot. It don't make sense anymore. So
yeah, it's just that OKC didn't get any worse as a team. Didn't give up any of their draft capital. And if you say that they had a weakness as a team, it was their perimeter defense, and they just got one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. And they gave up a guy that's gonna go to Chicago, and
he's just not like us. I'm gonna just end it like that.
Listen,
I mean, he's like the man that was mentioned on that song.
He's got a weird case. We are wondering why he's around, but in all seriousness, looking at Josh Giddey and what he became in the playoffs, right? I'm gonna give you the stats from his last 5 games. 11 minutes, 13 minutes, 12 minutes, 12 minutes, 10 minutes. 8 points, 9 points, 5 points, 11 points, 2 points. Shooting percentages here: 1 for 3, 5 of 8, 2 of 8, 4 of 8, 3 of 6. From deep, this man went a combined 3 for 14.
I told you, he just can't shoot. So, I mean, as far as the stats, based on those minutes, he got a nice plus minus, honestly.
4 turnovers against 6 assists. Again, I don't know how. Again,
he's not a bad player. Bad player.
I'm not saying he's a bad player, but my whole thing about this is the Thunder have more capital. They're like the old lady who lived in a shoe. They got too much draft capital with which to know what to do. They need to unload some of it. And you didn't get nothing?
No.
You didn't get one pick?
Let me tell you what they waiting on.
A second? Something?
No, let me tell you what OKC waiting on. They waiting on one of them stars to be like, I want out. And they going to offer the house for that.
Well, and Chris, that's the other part to me that blows me about this, because I'm not saying the Bulls were good. I'm not saying they were going to be contenders. I'm not saying that they were going to be anything beyond play-in-ish at best. But now, because they got rid of Caruso for Giddey, DeRozan wants out. So you're going to be left with a core of Lonzo, my leg, Ball, Josh Giddey, who, with all due respect, if the Bulls are having an event at Simeon High School, watch that boy. Watch him. You've got whatever they get back for DeMar DeRozan and Williams, who I talked about earlier, who I'm like, wait, how is he in the top 200 paid players in the league? But it's the Bulls, so you don't really question it.
Right.
That's what you're looking at right there. Oh, I'm sorry. And I forgot
Kobe White.
Nikola Vucevic and Kobe White. That's your core.
But
I feel like Dr. Phil when he said, and this is your man. Look at him. This is your man. And the Bulls are like, yep, and I'm going to stick beside him.
You was going to be bad either way. You go ahead and grab a young guy and he's a guy that, just be there, show up every day. And
yep.
I mean,
that is one thing
you're going to move Levine, DeRozan, and Vucevic, and probably Lonzo Ball. There's other ways they can get draft capital. They not really care about selling tickets.
You can't move Lonzo Ball. You can't.
Well, they'll let him play a couple games and let people like, oh, Lonzo back, and then they get rid of him. But what I'm saying is, I'm telling you, I get to go to the games for free anytime I want. Ain't nobody
I wonder why.
They don't care. They don't care. I
wonder why.
Hey, listen.
Them games.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. I was there when the Lions went 0-16 that next season. Even though they drafted Matt Stafford, they were giving away tickets with Burger King or Big Mac meals at select McDonald's. My auntie was a manager at one of those McDonald's, so I used to go to the games for free. And you would like start at the top and then just kind of work your way down.
Yeah, scope out the scenery.
But yeah, you gotta scope the scenery out. By the end of the game, you was basically at the 50-yard line. Like, if you're a bad team, of course you're getting free tickets.
Bro, I be in a box and I still be like, dang, the box empty.
The box being empty is crazy because the box got free food that come with it too. It's
right. Free food and liquor. You know one thing black people gonna show up for is free food and liquor. Free at the club before 11. I'm there.
Hey, let me tell you something. Like I said, hey, if you got to watch a team be some clowns, you might want to do it with some brown. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. But anywho, I don't understand what the Bulls are doing at all. I get they're trying to blow it up, but again, get some damn draft capital in everything you do. Be stingy. Yes, you're blowing it up, but don't just give away guys.
That's the same front office, though, that fleeced everybody for everything. I mean, that front office was doing some damage in the league. They had everybody first pick at one point. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, listen, OKC is a phenomenal front office, but boy, I know y'all tired of us talking about some bull nonsense. And some players who need to get traded, players need to hang it up, players who fleeced a team, players who got fleeced by a team. But come on back to next week and the week after that and the week after that. Peace and love, y'all.